Let's take a journey back to 1982. A low-budget film came out by the name of Conan the Barbarian, a movie that enthralled a generation of geeks with its graphic violence, its dark, captivating music score, and the charismatic villain, brilliantly played by James Earl Jones. Obviously, with the many adventures created by Robert Howard, the idea of sequel comes into play. Conan producer Dino De Laurentiis, in all of his wisdom, contemplated, I'm coming off a movie that's a critical success, made me tens of millions of dollars at the box office, and has been hailed as a cult classic. Oh, I know what I'll do. Let's turn it into a family-friendly romp that harkens us back to the days of Gene Dominion runs Saturday Night Live. A few years later, this stroke of genius led to the ironically titled Conan the Destroyer, a movie that all but gives a big fat fuck you to its original fanbase. From someone who was captivated by the awesomeness of the original movie, I had expectations for this. Yeah, to recognize how much they butchered the series, here's the first scene. We see Conan, not with Subotai as one would expect, but with this stereotypical douchebag named Malik, who's apparently supposed to be the comic relief in this movie by the fact that he's physically minuscule. I say apparently because by watching the scene for no more than 30 seconds, you will learn that this man is not funny. Throughout the movie, you're in for suicidal thoughts as he talks in this extremely irritating voice. There's no sense of comic timing at all, and he comes off as someone you'd stuff into a random locker in high school, hoping he suffocates to death. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I am funnier. The worst part about him is that he is fucking useless. All he does is whine to the point where I was actually cheering in the hopes that he would die a gruesome death in this movie. In layman's terms, he's ye old Jar Jar Binks. Rambling aside, the generic evil sorceress who attacks Conan wants him to lead her nephew to a temple to retrieve the Horn of Dagoth, complete with on-screen chemistry and dialogue that sounds as convincing as a grade school play.
And you will have to deal with it.
What good is a sword against sorcery?
Then you're afraid to go?
No. I will find a way. What does this key unlock?
The treasure. A jeweled horn. Only she can procure it.
Masterpiece. So Conan agrees to do her deed in return for her resurrecting Valeria. But, shocker, the sorceress is a lying bitch. And you're not being deceived. The bodyguard accompanying Jenna is famed scoring machine Will Chamberlain, and that is the sound of verisimilitude going straight down the shitter. To no one's surprise, Wilt's got the acting ability of a stilt, and is pretty much just there to get asses in the seats. But he's not the worst in this movie. Not by a long shot. Exhibit A, Olivia Diabo. Oh dear God.
Saw it!
No, you saw...
I saw it again!
No, you saw nothing.
I
A
did.
nightmare. Imaginings out of excitement.
Yes, ham it up some more, will you? Besides being horribly overwhelmed with the role, all she does in this movie is act as jailbait for 50-year-old men. Don't believe me? Go see her in Bolero, I dare you. Upon the first stops on this adventure is seeing Conan beat the living crap out of ye old Kisk Adventure as he manages to save Akira, the wizard from the first movie. Sadly, he's a mere shell of what he was. Instead of being able to dispel the forces of the dead, he's just there to be the fucking clapper. In fact, little is remembered from the original movie. They just paved it over with fresh asphalt.
I'm sorry about what happened the last time.
Oh yes, let us remember the fucking camel while completely forgetting about the Eye of the Serpent. So our horribly casted band of warriors continues along until they see Arsenio Hall being publicly executed for crimes against humor. Unfortunately for us, it gets saved because she's singing sensation Grace Jones. Okay, I know Conan the Barbarian had some questionable casting choices, but at least they had marginal acting talents. Jones, on the other hand, only has 2 ranges of acting, giving really annoying yells and shooting Orbit gum commercials. In fact, all of the actors in this movie either suck or are just there for the paycheck. It's to the point where certain actors make Wilt fucking Chamberlain look Oscar-worthy.
What do you want?
To come with you.
Be off.
Let me speak to Conan.
I said be off.
Good Christ, I've seen better acting from Sean Avery! As I question why I keep bitching about the acting, they approach a floating castle, where this wizard decides to get his pedo on.
Come bring her, Conan.
I know, that was terrible, but he does kidnap the twat to save us from her acting. Until they decide to rescue her, and Conan goes into this haunted house attraction. Upon entering, Gorilla Monsoon proceeds to treat Conan like a jobber and pound him to bits. The scene should be awesome, but the choreography is just outright bland. In fact, all of the action sequences seem uninspired, just as if they're just going through a walkthrough. This is maddening because there's potential here. We're coming off a movie where Conan rips off a bird's neck with his teeth. A little effort would have helped here. This is reinforced when the 4 horsemen of the shitpocalypse attack Conan. All we see are random fight poses and superior shots of the heroes killing their enemies off-screen in an effort for a PG rating. And barely covering up the fact that the main leader was an antagonist from the previous movie. Smooth. And there's a cheap attempt at foreshadowing. Wilt attacks Conan because he bashed his shitty acting. Love to hear this explanation.
Why?
I thought you were going to hurt the girl.
This is one of the Queen's guards. Why did they attack us?
Not by her order.
Okay, so you're just gonna leave it at that? No realization that he is evil? Ugh. By this time in the movie, Jenna realizes she'd like Conan to pop her taco. Therefore, the movie goes into just what every hack-and-slash film emphasizes, a talk about the birds and the bees.
We have to join. Get together. You see, he has to take his and grab her by the...
Scratch my last statement. Charger at least had a shred of dignity. This guy has now ye old Chris Chan.
Boobies. Vaginas. Gorgeous.
So after several unfunny time-filling scenes, we finally continue on with the plot as Jenna uses the powers of green screen to retrieve the horn. As they leave the temple, this Christopher Lee clone speaks of the glories of Cain, or Dagoth.
The god will live again, and we who give him life will stand by his right hand and rule the world with him.
You will die in the great evil that will come from his rebirth.
We will control him.
They keep going on and on.
Enough talk!
Finally! This movie realizes it's been boring us to tears for the last 20 minutes and goes about a decent action scene. Only because I feel there's some sense of joy about Wilt Chamberlain chokeslamming some random person. But apparently the important part is where Akiro and Christopher Lee with his bicycle horns of doom go into this epic duel where the one who makes the weirdest face wins. Everything's going smoothly until, surprise, Wilt Chamberlain's evil. Upon this revelation, Conan finally realizes he's been used like a doormat. So they decide to go and save her, but only before we hear more of Malik's whining.
We're thieves!
Hey, you hear that? That's the mob coming to kill your unfunny ass! Enjoy burning in hell.
Hey, wait for me!
Unfortunately, he doesn't die, and we arrive back in Shadazar, where Jenna drinks a roofie and places the human horn upon Dagal's head.
At the first sign of life in her god, the girl must be sacrificed. Or as the scrolls of Skelos say, a catastrophe will befall us.
But to our dismay, she gets saved by a spear that defies the laws of physics and goes straight into the priest's heart. In the meantime, we get this epic battle between Conan and Wilt Chamberlain, where Wilt ends up channeling Mike Tyson before he dies a cheerful death. But it's too late, as Dagoth lives and manages to kill off the sorceress, trying to sacrifice a suddenly fully conscious and resisting Jenna. Wilt Chamberlain and Sarah Douglas dead in less than a minute. Nice. So Dagoth eventually manages to massacre everyone associated with this trick and becomes supreme ruler, instituting quality control never seen since... Oh, I'm kidding. Conan rips off his manhood and peace is restored to Shadazar. Jenna becomes ruler and summons the unfunny one, the pop star, and the clapper to be her advisors. Conan, realizing how they butchered his reputation, goes off into self-imposed exile. And to further piss us off, the same ending as the first movie tantalizes us with how Conan's still going to become a king by his own hand. And I'm just about ready to break my television due to utter frustration. The problem with this movie is that it sold out badly. It decided to abandon everything that made the first movie good and turned it into a cheap cash-in. The acting is abysmal, the action sequences are bland and diluted at best, the special effects are poor, the plot is paper-thin, and the movie constantly tries to be funny and fails miserably at it. Word of advice, certain things are just not meant to be funny. Conan is one of them. Sure, I mean, you could effectively mix action and humor, like in Army of Darkness, but this movie ends up so pretentious that it forces this unfunny trite down your throat. This movie didn't even end up that much better at the box office for its attempt to lure a wider audience. Yes, it made a little more money and merited another movie, but to the rent his gun's comeuppance in the disaster that was Red Sonja, which I'm not going to touch, as the nostalgia critic would kick my ass in reviewing it. Here's the angry mob ready to lynch me for my blatant plagiarism. Bye, guys.